let's talk about employees. We're talking about organized labor's members and our employees. We have to recognize their role as a key stakeholder and influencer in the business, and we have certainly done that. Our initiatives of care for Imali, housing, and so on, is about winning the hearts and minds of our employees. Because if we can go down that road, and we can go down that road substantially, to some extent, you neutralize the hidden agenda of labor unions. We do recognize the role that they play in our business, but at the same time, they got to understand that their upliftment, their transformation, and their growth is really driven by business. And of course, we got to do a lot more work on that. Alignment with the business, the introduction of a profit share scheme is exactly about that. It's getting them aligned to what is necessary to generate profits, and that they benefit when the company generates profits as well. And of course, as I alluded to, at tough times, we all need to contribute by pulling in our belts. If you look at community sentiment, again, very sad that in South Africa we find ourselves right near the bottom of the list. And we all know why, but we've got to actually change this. But the communities also have a role to play. They've got to engage constructively. They also make unrealistic demands. We need to understand, or they need to understand, the implications of economic cycles. The PGM industry cannot afford to build houses at the moment. If that is forced, they will go down the tubes. Then what's the point? So, of course, it's easy for me to stand up here and talk about all the other stakeholders. I think we need to talk about business as well. We're not doing everything right either. We've got to become more transparent with other stakeholders. There's a debate going on in the Chamber of Mines at the moment about releasing our SLPs, putting them onto a website so everybody can see what we've committed to do. We shouldn't be having those debates. We should just do it. I don't believe there's any chamber member that's not committed to those SLPs, so why hold them back? That's an example of transparency. And of course, things change, and we need to be big enough to say when they change. We need to amend it or whatever it may be. Engagement forums must be inclusive. It is extremely difficult to get NUM and AMCU in the same room. We do get it right in certain parts of our business, but it's extremely difficult. Standards of governance, environmental and social responsibility. We've got to do a lot more than what we've done. As I said earlier, in terms of local communities, we clearly have to make sure that when we exit as miners, that there's another sustainable economy in place in the regions we operate. I think more importantly, and the most important point, is that value has to flow through to all stakeholders. It's a critical concept, and something that we're going to have to ensure that all chamber members buy into. We see a lot of mining companies are exiting South Africa. And my view is, if you want to operate in South Africa, you need to invest in South Africa. So that's another commitment. If you're going to be a mining company getting the benefits of mining our resources, you cannot just do that. You've got to invest in the future business as well. All right, so if we don't do that, and this is the last negative slide, we're going to sterilize our natural resources. You can see where we are now in terms of mineral potential. You can see if we had a good regulatory framework, if we had, let's say, constructive communities and organized labor, had little political risk, and so on, where we can move up in that list. So the mineral potential is significantly more than what we're seeing at the moment. And I think if this slide is why I get up every morning. So if you look at it, out of all those 109 countries, and you rank the improvements that can be made, you can see the potential for improvement in South Africa is one of the highest. And that's why we've got to get around the tables. We've got to change the attitudes. We've got to get government to understand. We've got to get organized labor to understand. We've got to get business on the right page. And we will all benefit from this.